Vehicular Entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
It's Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and you're listening to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles, and as every week, we're going to be talking about cars for the next hour. So if you have ever seen a car, you've ever been in a car, you've ever wanted to buy a car, this is definitely the place you need to be. A packed show today, and the regular crew is here with us. Brad, Sean, and Andrew. Brad, how's your week been?
My week has been fabulous, filled with great weather and fun times.
And let's just check, Andrew, do you have a driver's license?
Nope, still an ID. Had to check.
All right, just know we are in the middle of getting you a driver's license and getting you into a manual car and learning how to drive. Now, I have talked to PIR, and they have imported 1,000 hay bales to make sure that you don't hit the side of the track when you're testing.
Well, that's definitely going to happen. So we need the hay bales, and we actually probably need a couple
everybody
thousand.
that volunteered to teach you to drive has now rescinded their offer.
Yeah, this is going to be bad. This is going to be embarrassing not only for me, but for the people helping, because they're going to say, how does this adult be an adult during the day?
We need a helmet for you, too, by the way.
I do need a helmet. I want the full face guard, like, you know.
No, you get it. When you drive the non-chin guard helmets are purely for motorcycles. When you drive a race car, you have to have a full face helmet.
Yeah, I need that. I need the fire retardant because there's going to be a fire at some point, somehow, some way. There will be a fire.
By the way,
I guarantee it.
all those people that were lending us a car now to teach you to drive, they've also rescinded their offer. So when they just heard their car would catch fire.
Well, to embarrass them more, we are going to film this.
Oh, I expect that, and I expect to see the clutch drop in the middle of me trying to figure it out.
I'm actually not. No, it's not so interested in doing this anymore now.
Yeah,
you talked about fires and clutch dropping.
I know. I've almost talked myself out of it, but I got to do it. I have to drive. I'm 32. Grow up.
We have GoPro cameras for the car as well, which we're going to be inserting inside the car.
And they have warranties.
I think they're pretty battered as it is, isn't they, Sean? I think we've broken the glass on the screen several times because of accidents. We had 3 of them at one point. What happened to the third one, Sean?
We lost it. Didn't we lose it on the Lexus LFA event where we were doing, I think, 180 and it blew right off?
Yeah, we were doing 180 miles an hour in the Lexus LFA, and we came back into the pits. The camera's gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
Just disappeared.
Yeah.
So
just ate it.
Yeah, no, it's like, and I think those sort of thing is you once it's done, you know somebody ran over it on the track, and all there is plastic dust out there. There's no camera at all left to find.
Yeah, it's gonna be us.
Someone found pieces of plastic lodged in their wheel at some point in the future.
Well, the second time I ever drove, I flipped a car, so I don't want.
It wasn't really a car, was it?
Well, it had more than 4 wheels. It had 6 wheels, so it was even more sturdy.
It was one of those
UTVs.
UTVs.
Yeah, I had a truck bed on it. Saw a body of water. I gunned it and turned into the hill and flipped it. I almost died.
Wait, you gunned it? So you saw a body of water and you decided the best thing to do was accelerate?
Yes, and turn into the hill.
We probably should go back to fundamentals of what is danger and what isn't danger before we actually get you behind the wheel of a car.
We may have to. I'm a threat.
I think we might have to get an ambulance standing by too.
Yeah, we need full EMT. This is a serious event. Like I don't think Portland understands what's happening. Like this is monumental. This is huge.
All right, so we recently had the Portland Auto Show, and one of the cars that was revealed at that show was the brand new Maserati Ghibli. And I like to be friendly and call it, when I'm around Maserati people, call it the Giblet, because they get very, very offended by that. But it's just too close to not make fun of it. However, it is the first, I would say, mass production car that Maserati have made. When I say that, is more like a car for much more of the people. But rather than me wander through and try to explain exactly what the car is, we brought in the 2 guys from Gran Turismo here in Portland who know more about the car in their daily lives than we will know in our entire lives. And that is Steve Wintermantle and Art Smith. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. What did you bring in today? What did you drive in?
2014 Ghibli.
You did?
I did.
It seemed appropriate.
Yeah,
I
I
think
just want to go lay on it.
We
touch
were
it.
going to offer test drives, but after this story about Andrew and learning, and that's completely off the table now.
We came to teach Andrew how to drive in the Ghibli, but we quickly changed our minds.
Oh,
Yes.
talk about a first time.
Yeah, you completely ruined it, Andrew.
Yeah,
if you
well-
kept your mouth shut, you could have been driving around in a Ghibli today.
Story of my life.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. So a brand new car. First of all, completely different direction from Maserati. We heard all these rumors coming up about a diesel, an SUV, different kinds of Maseratis happening, and suddenly there is this four-door, smaller sedan than they've ever produced, performance sedan. What's the story behind the Ghibli?
So the Ghibli is really Maserati's entry into the E segment of the market. So it's going to compete with things like the A6, like the 5 Series BMW. And it's a little smaller than the previous Quattroporte was. They grew the new Quattroporte up in size pretty substantially to make it more of a luxury sedan with a lot of rear leg space. So the new performance sedan really is the Ghibli. It's a little smaller than the old car that it replaced and is a heck of a lot of fun to drive.
Now, this vehicle also has engines made by the younger sibling from Maserati, Ferrari. So
Correct.
you're sort of getting a Ferrari, really, aren't you?
It's the only four-door Ferrari you can buy.
See, there you go. Perfect. Now, and it's reasonably priced, too. These start out the gate at the same or less price than you would buy something from a German manufacturer, right?
They really do. They come in two variants. There's a 6-cylinder rear-wheel drive car that's the Ghibli, and then there's the Ghibli SQ4, which is an all-wheel drive car that has 60 more horsepower. So in both cases, they're Ferrari-built engines.
Now, when you say SQ4, so that presumably that means the four-door. That's the designation for four-door?
It's the designation actually for all-wheel drive
Okay.
within Maserati. So the Ghibli is only an automatic four-door sedan,
Okay.
and then the powertrain is actually what the SQ4 is referring to, all-wheel drive.
So when we look at a regular, let's say a Quattroporte, how much does a Quattroporte sell for?
Those base at around 104.
And so by the time you probably put everything you want in it, 140?
Yeah, you'll probably be in the 120 to 130 range
right.
on the all-wheel drive car, and then the GTS, which is their 8-cylinder car, twin turbocharged, that's going to get into the 100.5 to maybe 160 range.
Then we talk about things like, you know, the top of the end Maseratis where you put every option on and has a special carbon fiber wheel. What sort of price are we talking about?
Yeah, probably touching 170 at that point.
Right. And so now we're talking about a car that's maybe $110,000 less than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So a decent price, and it's going up against those other vehicles that you mentioned, the BMW 5 Series. How much is the price difference? Because I always feel that those cars are about $65,000. So is it equal price?
It really is. The Ghibli base price is $66,900. And obviously that's the base price car, but well optioned, the car would be in the mid-80s, and that's really everything that you could find on comparable automobiles.
I had a 3 Series recently from BMW, and it started at like 30 something, and it was optioned out to 58. So that had 30,000 on a 3 Series, had $30,000 worth of options. I'm sure on a 5 Series you could probably get more than $30,000 worth of options.
Yeah, I think we compare very favorably when you start to go option for option on the end MSRP.
So when we're talking about a base vehicle, are you getting navigation and those sort of things in it, or what does the base vehicle come with?
At the very base price, you're not. The very base car, if you were to order it that way, is no moonroof, no navigation. However, dealer inventory, especially our inventory, we're always going to order nav. We're always going to order moonroof. So realistically, you're probably talking about something a little closer to 70 that's on the lot. But from there, the equipment that's standard on the Ghibli is very favorable.
Well, be honest though. Like, let's be honest. Have you ever had anyone come in that has that kind of money and says, no, I don't want any of that. I want the absolute base. I want cloth. Nothing. I want a sundial watch.
Yeah.
I want a sundial watch. Nothing. I don't want nothing extra.
That's right. No, there's really not that sort of demand for the very, very basic car.
Yeah.
And even though we talk about a Maserati that's a lot less money than some of the other cars in their lineup, we're still talking about a rather expensive car. It's just new territory for us.
We're going to talk more about the Maserati Ghibli, and we're going to talk more about Gran Turismo and the fact that you guys are shutting up shop and moving to a fabulous, splendid new location coming soon. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the company. That's more on Test Miles. If you'd like an encore of today's show, you can always go to testmiles.com. You can see our videos and delightful pictures of the entire crew.
This is Test Miles. with automotive expert Nick Miles. Vehicular Entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
All right, we're doing one of our in-vehicle test drives here on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles, and along with me in the vehicle is Andrew and Sean. And today, test driving the 2014 Buick Regal all-wheel drive with the Premium 2 Group package. Now, Buick Regal, their sales up 58%, and it's all due to the Buick GS. That's the hot car right now. It has a very comfortable interior. Andrew, how is your personage?
It's feeling really personagey because I feel so comfortable in this car that if I just had a pillow, a nook, a glass of warm milk, and I'd call it a night, and it's curtains. This is prime time, 100% quality. Now, I do not have any doubt or reservation in my mind why this sales have risen 58%. It's likely, in my humble opinion, because of this car.
No, and it definitely is. Now, Buick do tout the fact that they have more torque than the Acura TSX, more torque than the Audi A4 Sport, the Volvo V60, the Lexus IS, and also the Infiniti Q50 along with Volkswagen CC. So they are saying this car with the standard 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo is the hot button with 259 horsepower. The average age of a Buick buyer is now 43 years of age. They've young, and Mercedes, by the way, is 65 for some of their models. So they've younger and freshened up the brand quite a bit. Starting at just over $30,000, nicely equipped for the all-wheel drive 37. And this vehicle, if you want the all-wheel drive GS version, it'll actually cost you around $40,000, which isn't bad for something as delicious as this Buick. I'm Nick Miles, Test Miles. Let's fly back to the studio with lots of Buick power.
Vehicular Entertainment. TestMiles.com.
If you'd like to hear some more of our test car reviews, you can go to the website, testmiles.com. Also on the website, you'll see some of our Fox Morning News pieces and the entire NBC shows that we put together here at Test Miles. Now, we still have our guests in studio. Steve Wintermetal, Art Smith here from Gran Turismo. Do we call it Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo?
Absolutely, Nick.
Ron
It'll
Tonkin
always be Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo.
In honor of the great man himself, who recently passed away.
That's correct.
Now, those collections of cars that he put together over the last, 40, 50 years?
Probably 40 years or so.
Are they now in your care? Are you the caretaker of those cars?
I'd say I'm the unofficial curator, but I do take care of the cars, keep them serviced, keep them running.
All right. Are you going to tell me some of the cars that that are in that collection that are wow factors?
There's a lot of wow factors in that collection. Probably one of the most important cars, or what you would have, if you would have asked Mr. Tonkin what his favorite car was, he's got a 1967 330 GTS. And the other thing that we're pretty proud about is we've got one of each of the 4 supercars that have been made, starting with the 288 GTO in 1985. That particular car happens to be the last 288 GTO to ever roll off the assembly line in Maranello. So we're pretty proud of that one. And the rest of the 4 would include the F40, the F50, and then the Enzo.
Wow.
If you were to put, I know you're going to hate me for this question, a value on the collection, what would you say? Give me a ballpark in millions.
Collector car values right now are just going through the roof. Frankly, it's changing almost monthly with what the auctions are doing.
And I know that talking to the guys at Hagerty, the insurance company that insure a lot of these high-end cars, they talk about that fine art is flat, gold is flat. The only thing that's increasing is classic cars, and the reason is, and it's different from anything else, because the reason is you can enjoy them, and you should enjoy them.
Right.
They should not sit as museum pieces. They should be driven for 10, 12,000 miles a year minimum.
That's correct.
And that's what people do. And they only really increase in value if you do drive them, right?
Right. The cars that sit are the cars that you end up having problems with down the road. They really are. They're made to drive, and that's what you need to do to keep them maintained.
What's the most rare car that's come in and out or is still in the collection? Which one would you never find another one of? I mean, apart from things that were the last one to roll off the production line,
Right.
But vehicles where there just isn't any available. I mean, they're just, and I'm referring back to the Nart Spider that was available at that was sold at the auctions this year down in Pebble Beach at the Portofino Hotel. Is there cars like that where there's only a handful of them left in the world?
Well, the 67 330 GTS that I was referring to, they only produced 100 of those cars, so there's not a lot of those left on the street. We've also got a 1953 212 Vignale, so a very early Ferrari, and they only made 22 of those cars. So how many of those are still available, is anyone's guess.
No one's ever going to sell them, right?
No, the collection will stay together. That is definitely the intent.
One of the interesting things is now, so we've really set you up for this next question because we talked about the fact that you have to go out and drive them. Who does? Who goes out and drives them?
Steve.
It's a tough part of the job, but it's one I welcome. Everybody in the neighborhood thinks I'm a bit of a poser, though. The car's, multiple times more expensive than where I live. So.
I have to think they probably think you're a drug dealer or something.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's the problem I always have.
Just what I need.
Let's talk back a little bit about the Ghibli and the Maserati's latest vehicle. Maserati often have very, very fine materials in their vehicle and very high-end materials. So the leather, and you can just touch the leather inside a lot of Maseratis and feel a complete difference. So with all these high-end materials in the Maserati, is this the quality? Is this car going to be quality? Because we're talking about making more of these Maseratis than they normally make of a vehicle. We're talking about hitting the mass production and going up against these cars like the BMW 5 Series and going up against Audi's vehicles at A6 and those sort of things. Is the quality going to remain high? I know the answer generally is going to be yes, but isn't that a challenge for the brand?
Oh, I think it could be a challenge, but you got to keep in mind what mass production means for our particular brand. I've heard internally at some Maserati meetings that if we achieve all of these drastic sales increase goals that have been laid out for North America, even if we hit all of those numbers, we're talking about taking maybe 1% market share from somebody the size of Mercedes-Benz.
Right.
And in this size market, 80 cars, I mean, they're going to they're going to disperse and
Right.
they're not going to be everywhere. So
Right.
mass production for us means something maybe a little different than it would for the guys at Ford or Chevrolet. But so far, we've seen the quality be just through the roof.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the new shop that you guys have been putting together and some of the exciting things that they'll have on there. If you want to get more information about the show, go to testmiles.com and you can join us on various social medias through that portal.
This is Test Miles with automotive expert Nick Miles. Vehicular Entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
Welcome back to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles. The regular crew is in the house. Andrew, Sean, and Bradley. And we are talking cars. The special guests today from Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo. Currently out on 122nd is Steve Wintermantel and Art Smith, the two big cheeses out there. Art, you guys are moving.
Yes, we are. We're really excited. It's something that we've been looking forward to for a long time. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility located right in Wilsonville.
And your current store has been there for how long? Is that where the Ferrari dealership started?
That wasn't where it started. We are the oldest Ferrari dealership in America through attrition. Mr. Tonkin got the franchise in 1966, and he was selling Ferraris out of his Chevrolet store at that time. The current facility that we're in now, we've been there for a little over 30 years, and we're very much looking forward to and ready for the move.
I mean, your current facility is pretty nice. It's a very open, airy showroom.
Right.
But you can only really get 4 or 5 cars. 4 or 5?
We put 5 or 6 in there,
Oh,
but
right.
it's tight. It
Yeah.
really is tight. And what we want is more of a museum-like quality where you can walk around the automobile and really take in its artistic lines and get good views of the car and not be squished together.
Of course, I'm always that difficult customer, and I'll come in and I'll say, hey, Steve, could I test drive that one at the back there? And Steve has to move 5 cars to get it out.
Just as soon as we get the paperwork done is the
Yeah.
answer I usually give on that one.
Wait, I thought we photocopied it from the last time. I think there's got to be a segment somewhere in us coming down and having Andy learn to drive in an Aston Martin.
Yeah, because that's right by my house. So now that I figured, like, since I met you guys, I thought I was on the in, like I could go in.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just no big. I'm just hanging out with the guys here, and like I just start touching everything and.
Well, let's
Get
just
kicked
Google
out.
map that because maybe the Chevy store is actually closer, and we could probably work that out, or Toyota, or we can figure something out.
I think you do live actually close to the Chevy store because you're on the same side of the street as a Chevy store.
Yeah. No,
Well, there you go.
I think I am.
So
Yeah,
it sounds
technically.
like a pickup truck with a manual transmission instead of a Ferrari.
Fine.
Foiled again, foiled again.
I know. Fine.
When you make the move to the new location?
It's looking like May. We should have everything done and be ready for the summer selling season.
And then maybe Andrew can test drive some cars at the new.
Yeah, maybe at that point, that could be the grand opening. That could be the whole sell of it.
Andrew, I you know what's going to happen? They're going to want to see that you can drive. They're gonna want to come down and see you can drive in a $300 pickup before they're going to let you even sit in the back seat of one of their cars.
No. I think I got. I think I got their trust. I think I've got it.
You see them offering you the keys to the Maserati Ghibli that's downstairs.
Yeah, they are. They've told me. They pulled me aside and said, Andrew, obviously you don't know what you're doing, but you seem solid, so you can take the Ghibli. Just go ahead.
Those words don't work for me.
I think you'll have to get a picture because here's the key, and I'll hand it over to Andrew. You can get a good shot of that.
Steve, let me Facebook it.
It'll be right there on the website. You'll be
Yeah, I want to
set.
put it right there in test miles.
I want to see him actually try and learn how to start it. He probably thinks he still put a key in the slot.
Oh
Yeah, I probably would. Well, actually, the first problem was me trying to get in it. That's the first thing. I'd probably have to lay down sideways and drive with my foot. So that's probably not good.
I think it'll work.
Yeah.
I think we can make it happen.
Okay. All right.
It's interesting to learn because Andrew's bigger guy is what cars fit him and what don't. And some things you would think like the VW Bug, he slides in and out that thing easily. Tried to get you into an Audi A7 the other day, and it was
Nope.
like we had to put Crisco on the doors.
Yeah, I did. I had to run and jump in it. It wasn't happening. I couldn't do it.
I mean, I think the first car you got into was the Mini Cooper a bunch of years ago, and that was huge for him.
Yeah, it was. It was ample. I spread my feet out and everything. It was great.
You have sold some Ghiblis already, right?
Correct. Yeah, we have the cars in stock. They've been in stock since just before the end of the year. So, we do have inventory on the ground. We have demonstrator cars. Coming this month, we're actually going to have for our client base for the first time Ghibli loaner cars. So for servicing clients that are coming in with their Ferrari or Maserati, they'll be able to drive the newest, latest product. And, for us, that's great marketing and great customer service as well. So you're going to be seeing more and more of these cars around town.
Now, do you think, and this is a strange question to ask, but I do have my friend Will Tucker who's constantly looking for a 4-door or for a larger convertible. Do you think that Ghibli will ever make a convertible?
I don't know that the Ghibli will ever come as a convertible, but I know that Will has had the Maserati convertible, and I think he loved it. I don't know if they're ever going to put 2 more doors on it,
Right.
but it's a great car to drive. It's a very functional car day to day, and we're probably looking at a refresh of that Gran Turismo body style, which is the current convertible, in the next 2 years or so. Probably in the next year.
This is
they'll
a
start showing
challenge
that.
for anybody that wants a 4-seater convertible. I mean, there's the Nissan Murano.
Yeah.
There you go.
That comes in I saw one of those,
Yeah,
by the
And
way,
that's a
at New
beautiful
Seasons.
car.
Yeah.
New
Right
Seasons
in our
Happy
product
Valley. But then there's this guy sitting in this car. It's a Nissan. First of all, you notice the Nissan Murano convertible. You can't miss it because it's such a strange and different looking vehicle. But the guy that's sitting in it has a red plaid shirt from the 70s on and overalls and a big beard and hat. And I'm like, something doesn't fit here.
No, that's terrible.
There's a
very-
felony somewhere.
Yeah, so he's the guy that ends up with a Murano convertible. It's hard to find a 4-seater convertible, isn't it?
It really is, especially one that's truly usable. Everybody calls it a 2+2.
Right.
Ferrari makes the California, which is a 2+2.
Right.
Arguably, those back seats are probably for your gym bag or your briefcase.
But it works. Actually, people love me when I'm in a 2+2 convertible because I only have a 24.5-inch inseam, which means that there's always ample room for anybody to sit behind me in the back of those cars because I have the seat as far forward as it will physically go, so I can. Sometimes I have to strap blocks onto the pedals.
See, I thought you were going the other way with that. That you were the one that sat behind somebody because of. Okay, so all right.
No, it's usually when I'm driving.
I see.
I'm one of those A-type personalities that usually has to be in the driver's seat, as I don't feel it. I want to just mention something that we haven't really talked about much, but one of my first drives was when I went to Italy to Brunecco with Ferrari, and we got to drive the FF, and Ferrari helicoptered them onto the top of a snow hill and drive that FF, which was their first four-seater, four-wheel drive car, down the snow hill. Are the FF still? Because it's still clearly my favorite Ferrari. Are they selling still?
They are. Yeah, we maintain a demo car that's in stock at all times so that somebody can come in and see and drive that car.
I'll be right there.
Yeah.
I'll be right there.
That was more description than invitation, but whatever.
Oh, sorry, did I misread that?
It's a fabulous car, and instances like that where you were up on the top of a mountain driving down a snow hill, running a slalom course, it's just really a great way to highlight the functionality of that system. A lot of people don't think about driving their Ferrari in the snow, and this is one that literally in parts of the world you can see those with the Yakima roof boxes going up to the ski slopes.
It's absolutely a work of genius. When we come back on Test Miles, we'll talk a little bit more about Ferrari, Maserati, and Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo and the brand new Maserati Ghibli.
This is Test Miles with automotive expert Nick Miles.
Well, welcome to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles. We're back on the road doing a test drive. And today the vehicle we're inside of is a 2014 Kia Soul. This is the second generation of the Kia Soul. The first generation was remarkably the car that turned around Kia and made them into a successful company. I mean, it wasn't just that single vehicle that did it, the first generation Kia Soul. And the Kia Soul changed the fortunes of that company now to be the fifth most recognized brand. We've said it many times before in the United States. And the fact is that ever since then, they've grown into a car company that have great designs, really desirable vehicles that perform well. The only thing that they need to do right now is catch up a little bit with their resale values. Still, when you own a Kia, they don't resell for as much as what I think they're worth. So on the outside, not many changes. It is a bit sleeker. It's got a little more bling on the outside. It looks slightly different with some of the trim work, but really just recognizable as that boxy shape. And of course, its competitors, which are the Nissan Cube and the Scion XB, they are not doing very well at all. In fact, I think the Kia Soul outsells them approximately 5-1. So let's talk a little bit about pricing of this car, and there is a slight downside to it. First of all, upsides, roomy, very cost effective to purchase, very usable, and a lot of extras. Now, this car does technically start at $14,700, and this is where the downside comes for the 2014 Kia Soul. One of the problems is that if you want selected options in this car, they come as part of packages. By the time you've optioned out the car to contain the packages that you might want, well optioned, the price does jump to around $20,000 or more. So it's time to head back to the studio when we continue more car stuff.
This is Test Miles with automotive expert Nick Miles. Vehicular Entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
Welcome back to Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles, and we are here every Sunday on FM News 101 KXL talking about cars and the automotive world. If you want a recap of everything we've talked about today, you want to hear some great shows that we've done in the past, or look at some of our TV segments, the website is testmiles.com. We also have one of them Facebook accounts and one of them Twitter accounts that you can join and follow us. Actually, I did notice, Andrew, that we're up to 10,000 followers on Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
very
good.
10,000 followers.
I knew all those fake accounts would work.
Yeah, they're all in India, and they all joined within 24 hours of each other, but, you know, they're still following us.
Hey, a follow's a follow.
Exactly. Our guests, special guests in the studio today are Steve Wintermantel and Art Smith from Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo. We've talked about the new store that's coming up, and we've talked about the Ghibli. What else goes on at the Gran Turismo store? You guys do a summer track event. You do a lot of work with existing people to find the cars that they're looking for. You have sort of it's less of a walking off the street customer and look you up in the internet. It's more of a you have existing customers that you work with pretty much their whole lifetime of buying cars, right?
In a lot of ways, we really do, and people do look us up on the internet all the time and have special requests and so forth. So I mean, it's a lot of local business, but certainly we're serving the whole nation. You know, it's an interesting business, and we get into things of all kind. Right now, we have a Hummer H1 in stock that's an original '97 with 3,500 miles. It's not even seen off-road usage, but yet it's one of the most capable off-roaders out there. We're working with a client in Dubai right now to try and get that deal done. So, you know, it's really got a global reach, and on a more local level, if somebody has a Ferrari or Maserati, a lot of times we're the first people they think of for automotive needs because we're the fun store. You know, we're
Right.
the toy store. We're the place they like to go and decompress.
One of my favorite stories that I always like to tell, and I told it when Ron Tonkin passed away recently, was I do remember that when he went down in probably about 3 or 4, maybe longer years ago, he went down to Barrett-Jackson. And I remember having you guys were in the studio and you get this phone call and he's shipping 6 cars up that he's bought from Barrett-Jackson. And the look on your faces was amazing because you were like, suddenly you have this increased inventory of 6 cars that you're not sure that you were expecting. And you question, you know, oh, he's gone and bought these cars and this sort of thing. And the following week you came in and every single one had sold. And so however much you might have questioned at the time, was this a good decision making? Still, at his age, being that car lover, he didn't miss a beat. He got it right. He bought the cars that we all questioned whether they were good purchases, but they shifted off the lot within 7 days.
Yeah, they all really did sell quickly, and you know, no one could ever question his insight. I mean, it was in his blood. He knew a good car when he saw it, and to pick up 6 at one time and sell them within a week, that's just another day for him.
Do you have a lot of, let's say, famous or locally famous people that you help buy vehicles for?
Well, this is Art Smith. I mean, maybe we didn't.
And
The fame is just coming up.
I was thinking Nick Miles. He's been in our store more than once.
And you know what? I would my trouble with coming into your store is I get lost in possibilities, and then I have to check myself before I wreck myself.
Yeah, and we have had some.
Wow. I got to
But
check
it's
myself.
true. It's true because
Good night.
I tell you, I walk in there and I go, you know, I wonder if I could work some finances out with my. Could I tell the tax man that this is actually a retirement plan? when
Well,
go buy
I think
my
if you
FF?
sleep in it, it can be an RV, and then doesn't that qualify for 12 years?
If we could, I could live in an FF, no problem at all. It's the 5 dogs that might chew the leather up that might be a time. Tell everybody how we can find more out about Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo, how we can get in touch with you guys, and how we can partake in some of the fabulous cars at the store.
You know, the easiest way to get in touch with us is the website, rtgt.com. Ron Tonkin Gran Turismo, shortened down into those 4 letters. Easy to look up. All of our inventories online. All of our updates and social media related to the new store is accessed through the website there.
All right, what if I'm coming into the store today? What's the best deal you got to offer me?
Well, we're going to work on an FF, 12-year financing, it sounds like. And
Yeah.
the best deal at the store today, honestly, bang for the buck, the Maserati Ghibli is our new product. It's obviously what we're here to talk about today, but it really is the deal that most people are looking for. It's something new in that segment. If you've leased 3 or 4 or 5 German cars in a row, this is a way to get into an Italian masterpiece with a Ferrari-built engine and stand out in an otherwise maybe boring parking lot at your office.
I would really. I don't know anything about marketing, but I'd really sell that twofer. Like, you get 2 for 1, because that, for me, I'm a sucker for a twofer. Like at Fred Meyer's, I'll always get the 2 for $6 thing, you know. And if you can get a Ferrari and a Maserati in one, done, sold.
Yeah, well, we'll have to work on a package deal like that. Maybe it'll be a Test Miles special.
See?
A 458 Italia and Maserati Ghibli for...
Now, you know what I'm doing after the show's over? I'm calling KXL and asking them if they can extend my contract to 12 years so I can afford to buy myself an FF. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us. As always, you're welcome to the show anytime you have anything to talk about, and anytime you want to bring things like the Ghibli to the studio, we'll tell you when Andy's not here. So you could you wouldn't have to worry about him test driving it. We'll be here next week at the same time, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings. And if you want to find out more about the show and get a recap, it's testmiles.com. I'm Nick Miles. For the rest of the crew, we'll see you next week.
This is Test Miles with automotive expert Nick Miles.